One morning in Vaishali, I walked to meet the Buddha. The air was filled with dew-laden serenity. The town was awakening gently, its hum gradually intensifying. Merchants prepared their goods, and villagers greeted one another with soft voices. As I approached the grove, the Buddha sat under a Bodhi tree. His eyes reflected an infinite calm. "Master," I said, bowing low, "I seek your guidance on an everyday matter. How can one commute mindfully?" The Buddha's smile radiated wisdom, kindness, and understanding. He gestured toward a rock nearby, inviting me to sit beside him. "Walking is an act not only of the body," he began, "but also of the mind and heart." He picked up a small leaf resting near his foot. "Notice this leaf," he instructed, holding it carefully. Its green veins seemed to tell a story. "Every leaf is unique, yet part of the same tree," he said. "As your foot meets the earth," he continued, "feel the world beneath, carrying you with silent strength. When your foot lifts," he explained, "acknowledge the space it leaves, a momentary void that allows continuation." I watched my own feet, considering their unnoticed dance. Each step seemed connected to his words, forming a rhythm. "Let go of thoughts that rush ahead," the Buddha advised, "and abandon those that lag behind in memory." He closed his eyes momentarily, embodying stillness. The mind, undistracted, becomes light as a feather floating. "Master," I asked, "how do we handle distractions? The world is noisy, bustling, filled with temptations and worries." The Buddha opened his eyes slowly, his gaze resting firmly on me. "Begin by acknowledging the distraction, not battling it. Think of it as a cloud passing across the sky," he said. "Notice it, then let it drift away." The grove rustled with the wind's gentle embrace. It felt as if even nature attended to his teachings. "In a commute," he said, "you may notice the chatter of people, the sounds of trade, the constant movement. Do not deny these," he continued. "Instead, let them be, without assigning judgment or allowing disruption within." "Master," I asked, "how can I cultivate presence amid such a routine task?" His smile deepened like sunlight piercing clouds. "The simplest acts," he replied, "often carry profound potential. Awareness in walking transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary mindfulness. Observe each sensation, the air on your skin, the ground beneath your feet, the rhythm of your breathing. Every step is a journey," he said, "even if your destination seems ordinary or predetermined by habit." I nodded, reflecting on the daily walks I barely noticed. They seemed so trivial, yet they now brimmed with meaning. "Gratitude accompanies mindfulness," the Buddha added. "Appreciate your body's ability to walk, your surroundings' offerings, and the life around you." I looked at the grass under my feet, vibrant and alive, a testament to unnoticed beauty. "Each blade of grass is touched by countless feet," the Buddha observed. "But it still stands, grows, perseveres. Similarly," he said, "let life's journey tread upon you without diminishing your essence or clarity." His words sank deep, like water nourishing parched soil. The simplicity of walking felt transformed, almost sacred. "Can you teach me more, Master?" I asked eagerly, sensing the profound in his every syllable. "Certainly," he said, his tone tender. "Do you ever focus on your breathing while walking?" I shook my head, embarrassed by how much I'd overlooked. "No, Master, I have never thought of such simplicity. Breath is your companion," he said. "Let it guide you, anchor you to the present, no matter the path. When you breathe in," he explained, "recognize life entering your body. When you breathe out, feel life expanding around you." Walking with awareness of breath, he added, is like a harmony between the inner and outer world. I experimented, inhaling deeply, then stepping forward, exhaling as my foot touched the earth. An immediate tranquility emerged. "Do not rush," the Buddha advised. "It is not about the distance covered, but the peace cultivated through each step. The sun peeked through the treetops, casting dappled patterns on the ground. I felt as if time slowed entirely. Master, I asked, what if the path I walk is unpleasant or difficult? His gaze softened even further. All paths have their challenges, he said, but the way we tread them defines our experience. If you walk mindfully, he explained, even a rocky trail can teach resilience, adaptability, and patience. The rocks beneath your feet, he added, are not obstacles. They are reminders to tread carefully, compassionately. I absorbed his words, imagining difficult walks I had endured. They seemed less burdened when framed as learning opportunities. Begin each journey, the Buddha said, with an intention. Ask yourself, what am I practicing through this walk? Is it patience, kindness, self-discipline, or gratitude? He inquired. Let this intention guide every step you take. The grove felt alive, as if resonating with his wisdom. I began seeing the act of walking as wholly transformative. Master, I asked, what if I forget these practices amidst my daily haste? A knowing smile formed on his lips. Forgetfulness is human, he said. Returning to mindfulness is always possible, no matter how many times you stray. Even a single mindful step, he continued, has the power to reconnect you with yourself and the present moment. Walking, he concluded, is not just movement. It is an expression of how we choose to engage with life. I rose from the rock, thanking the Buddha for his teachings. His presence seemed to stay with me as I left. Each step home felt as though it carried his words. The world appeared brighter, more harmonious, more alive. In every step, I felt echoes of his wisdom, turning my commute into a journey of discovery and peace. Another day in the vibrant streets of Rajgir. I found myself lost in the endless commotion of the marketplace. Vendors shouted their prices, children weaved through the crowd, and carts creaked loudly as they rolled on uneven paths. I searched for the Buddha, whose words always brought peace amidst the chaos that seemed unrelenting in its nature. When I reached the edge of the market, the Buddha sat on a low stone wall, observing the bustling scene. I bowed low, my heart heavy with the dissonance of noise and movement. Master, I feel overwhelmed here, I admitted. The Buddha regarded me calmly, his eyes mirroring a serene sky above turbulent clouds. Why do you feel unsettled? The noise, the rush of people, I replied. It feels as though it pulls my mind apart in every direction. He gestured toward a bird perched above the market chaos, silent and still despite the activity below. Do you see how the bird watches without becoming the noise? He asked. It does not lose itself in movement. His words pierced through my scattered thoughts, grounding me like an anchor dropped into stormy waters. Master, how can I practice such stillness? I asked, hoping to understand the art of remaining untouched by turmoil. The Buddha smiled gently, as though amused by the simplicity of the answer he was about to offer. Start by closing your eyes, he said. Remove one distraction, even while surrounded by the clamor of the world. I hesitated but obeyed, shutting out the scene before me. My ears still caught the marketplace's cacophony. Now breathe, the Buddha instructed. Feel the air entering your body, the life it brings with each gentle inhale. I inhaled deeply, the act grounding me slightly. The sounds, though still present, began to feel more distant. Let each exhale carry away the tensions within, he continued, as though releasing clouds from a stormy sky. I exhaled slowly, imagining my stress dissipating like mist in the morning sun. A strange calm began to surface. Do not resist the noise, he advised. Resisting only gives it power. Accept it as part of the moment. His words struck me deeply. I realized how I had fought the chaos instead of accepting its place in the world. The world outside, the Buddha said, cannot truly disturb you if you are at peace within. Cultivate your inner harmony, Master, I asked, what if the noise is unbearable? How do I protect my mind from becoming consumed by it? The Buddha gestured to the crowd. Observe without judgment, he said. Notice the patterns, the rhythms, the humanity in it. I opened my eyes, following his gaze. The market, though still chaotic, began to appear more intricate, less threatening. Each shout, he said, carries a purpose. Each hurried step tells a story. Find beauty in the smallest details. I watched a vendor adjust her wares with care. A child laughing as he played. A man helping an elderly woman. The marketplace shifted before me. No longer a source of overwhelm but a tapestry of life. Vibrant and interconnected. Do not absorb the chaos, the Buddha reminded me. Let it flow around you. Like water around a steady rock. His analogy resonated deeply. I imagined myself as a rock in a river. Steady and unmoved by the current. Master, I asked, how can I carry this lesson into my daily life? Beyond this market, beyond this moment? The Buddha's smile widened slightly, as though pleased with my eagerness to learn and apply his teachings. Begin each day with stillness, he said. Even a few minutes of quiet breathing can prepare your mind for noise. Remember, he added, stillness is not the absence of sound but the presence of an undisturbed mind. I nodded, his words lingering in my thoughts. They felt like seeds planting themselves within the soil of my consciousness. When you walk through crowded streets, he said, focus on your breath and steps. Let them be your anchors. Do not rush, he advised. The world may hurry, but your peace lies in moving at your own steady pace. His teachings, though simple, seemed to echo endlessly, reverberating with truths I had overlooked in my haste. Master, I said, what if I forget these practices in moments of great stress or distraction? The Buddha reached down and picked up a stone, turning it over in his hand as he answered. Even stones carried by rivers return to stillness on the riverbed, he said. You can always return to peace. The metaphor comforted me, reminding me that losing my way momentarily did not mean I was lost forever. Carry these practices lightly, he said. Do not burden yourself with perfection. Each mindful moment is a step toward harmony. I bowed deeply, thanking the Buddha for his wisdom, which seemed to illuminate even the noisiest corners of the world. As I walked away, the market no longer felt suffocating. Instead, it felt alive, teeming with the beauty of existence. Each sound, once overwhelming, became part of a greater symphony. Each movement seemed purposeful, interconnected, and alive with meaning. In my breath and steps, I carried the Buddha's teachings, discovering stillness even as the world swirled around me. Another day, in the serene city of Shravasti, I encountered the Buddha seated beneath a tree in quiet reflection. His presence exuded tranquility, a stark contrast to the hurried energy of travelers moving purposefully along the nearby road. I approached him, bowing low, and spoke earnestly. Master, I seek your guidance on fostering connection amidst daily rush. The Buddha's gaze softened as he looked at me, his voice calm, carrying the weight of timeless understanding. In a world of hurried footsteps, he said, small gestures can weave threads of connection and compassion. He gestured toward the travelers, their faces focused, their minds seemingly preoccupied with their destinations and tasks. Notice these people, he said. Each carries unseen burdens, joys, and sorrows hidden beneath their hurried expressions. His words encouraged me to observe the travelers differently, not as strangers but as carriers of untold stories. Master, I asked, how can one practice kindness in such fleeting encounters, where time and space feel so limited? The Buddha smiled gently, as though the question itself contained its answer. Kindness needs neither time nor elaborate actions, he said. Even a silent wish for another's well-being, he continued, creates ripples of compassion in the vast ocean of humanity. His words filled me with both hope and curiosity. I wondered how such subtle acts could make a tangible difference. Imagine, the Buddha said, your thoughts as seeds. Each kind intention you plant contributes to a future harvest of goodwill. I reflected on his imagery, understanding that kindness could flourish even in the smallest, most fleeting moments. Begin, he advised, with a simple smile or an inward blessing for someone passing by. He gestured toward an elderly man struggling to carry a bundle of firewood. His gait slow but determined. Help him, the Buddha said, not for reward but because his struggle becomes lighter when shared. I approached the man, offering to carry his bundle. His eyes, once weary, brightened with gratitude as he accepted. As I returned to the Buddha, he nodded approvingly, his expression serene yet filled with encouragement. Master, I asked, how do we sustain such compassion in the face of indifference or even hostility? His gaze deepened, his words flowing like a gentle stream. Compassion is not dependent on the world's reaction, he said. It springs from within, he continued, like a well that waters the earth, regardless of whether the earth acknowledges it. His analogy resonated deeply, reminding me that the act of giving carried its own fulfillment, independent of external validation. The greatest kindness, the Buddha said, is offered without expectation, like the sun warming all, without discrimination or demand. I pondered his words, inspired to practice kindness as an unconditional offering rather than a transaction seeking reciprocation. Master, I asked, what if one's kindness is misunderstood or even rejected? His smile never wavered as he replied. Kindness, he said, is never wasted, even when unseen. It leaves an imprint on the giver's heart and the world. His perspective shifted my understanding, allowing me to see kindness as a gift to the universe, not just individuals. Begin with acknowledgement, he said. When you see another, truly see them. Recognize their humanity, their joys, and their struggles. Do not judge, he continued. Instead, seek to understand, even in silence. In understanding, compassion takes root. I watched the travelers again, noticing details. The wear on their shoes, the lines on their faces, the stories in their eyes. Each observation deepened my connection to them, dissolving the barriers between us. If only in my own heart. Master, I asked, how can one extend kindness to many when each encounter feels so brief? The Buddha closed his eyes for a moment, as if reflecting deeply, before opening them to speak. Kindness, he said, is not limited by time or scale. It exists in thought, words, and actions, however fleeting. Every interaction, he continued, is an opportunity to plant a seed, no matter how small or brief the encounter. I recalled his earlier advice to silently wish others well and resolved to practice this as I moved through my day. The world, the Buddha said, is a mirror. What you give to it reflects back, magnified in unexpected and unseen ways. His words inspired me to see each act of kindness not as isolated but as part of a larger, interconnected whole. Master, I asked, how do we practice compassion when we ourselves feel burdened or depleted? His gaze softened further, his response carrying the weight of both wisdom and empathy. Self-compassion, he said, is the foundation of all compassion. Tend to your own well-being as you would a beloved friend. His advice reminded me that kindness, extended inward, radiates outward, like ripples spreading from a single stone in water. Rest when needed, he continued. Even the sun sets to rest, yet its light nourishes the world during its presence. His analogy comforted me, affirming that pauses and care for oneself were not selfish but essential. Master, I asked, what if one's burdens feel insurmountable, leaving no room for compassion toward others? Burden, the Buddha replied, feels heavier when carried alone. Sharing, even through a kind word, lightens both the giver and receiver. His wisdom illuminated a path forward, teaching me that even in struggle, connection offers solace and mutual strength. Master, I said, how can we inspire others to practice kindness and compassion in their own lives? By embodying it, he replied. Your actions teach more than words. Be the example you wish others to follow. His advice resonated deeply, reminding me that living by example could ignite the same spark in others. As the sun began to lower, painting the sky in hues of amber and gold, I thanked the Buddha deeply. His words, though simple, carried the power to transform not just a day but an entire way of being. As I walked away, I silently wished each traveler I passed well, feeling a lightness grow within my heart. In every step and every breath, I carried the Buddha's teachings, discovering connection and compassion even amidst life's rush. Equanimity is the ability to observe without losing oneself to chaos, the Buddha explained. It is the foundation of wisdom and peace. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.